Hello everyone, this is Aaron again, and I'm going to do a short video for you right now. Some things that are on my mind. I was going to post another video, but I'll post that next week because of some things that have happened and some comments I got on my video last week where I talked about my fears of the fact that we might be losing our rights, some of our rights within the PCP world fairly quickly because of, one, the guns that are being promoted now and how they're being promoted. And I won't get into that again. I did a little rant on that for a moment last week. But let me say this in terms of how I view this thing and how I'm clear on my vision of it. My household represents America to the T when it comes to guns, powder burner guns, to the T. My wife hates them. Think they're the most dangerous thing in the world. Thinks everybody's just out shooting each other with them. They should all be taken away from citizens, and only the police and only the military should have it because everybody else is just out there randomly shooting at each other and killing each other with these things. So take them away. My two sons, take it or leave it. They don't care. Guns are not on the radar. I've had them in the house and they never cared about them. Me, staunch. Leave my gun alone. Gotta have it. And you do anything about that, and we're gonna have a problem. Okay. So if my household represents America, and this is what's happening in my household, there's always one of these guns laying on the table in the living room because I shoot out the window every now and then. PCPs are laying all over the house. Okay, I got one laying on the deck sometime. I got one laying on the living room on the table. I might be in there watching TV and playing with one and doing some things or cleaning it as I'm watching TV in the living room. Okay, they're always around. My wife never complains. She's never complained about this gun. She sees it all the time. She picks it up. She moves it and dust under it. But if this thing here was one of my powder burners that are in the safe, she would be screaming bloody murder. Okay, bloody murder. Okay, think about that. Okay, the other guns have to be locked up, but this gun can stay on the table. That's the mindset of America right now. This is an air gun. It's not seen as a dangerous weapon. It's not on anybody's radar screen too much right now as being anything other than an air gun. But soon and very soon, I believe it's going to be raised to a level where I call it a weapon of mass destruction. And once it does, I won't be able to lay this on the table in the living room anymore because my wife's little mind of what this little gun can do will be totally blown away. And all of a sudden, I can't shoot out the back window anymore. You might kill somebody. I can't have it on the table. What if it goes off? All these things will come into mind. I said all that to say this. Right now, this gun has enjoyed a lack of attention, if you will. But now it's starting to get big attention. And these are the things that are scaring me. The people who write to me on my channel and they say things like, I'm really excited, I'm getting my first gun. Oh, what are you getting? Oh, I'm getting an FX 30 cal. Or, boy, my 30 cal is on the way. And the squirrels in my backyard had better be nervous. You got a 30 cal and you shooting at a squirrel? Do you know that once it hits the squirrel at 900 feet per second, when it exits the squirrel, it's still going to probably have 700 left on it? I think your neighbors should be scared. It's not the gun. It's the hands it's going into. It's not the gun. It's the way it's being promoted so haphazardly. No one is talking about appropriateness. No one is saying, well, maybe you should start out with a CO2, or maybe you should start out with a 177 and work your way up to a 30 cal. Or be safety minded or whatever. None of that's being taught. And so what's happening is this: people are going on and they're seeing these videos, and they're seeing these big guys out there saying, "Oh, plenums, gotta have a bigger plenum. Oh, you gotta have a 700 millimeter so you can shoot slugs." And these guys, they see it the same way my wife sees it. This is an air gun. It's not a real gun. It's not dangerous. It's an air gun. That myth of what an air gun used to be. versus what the reality of this thing is today is miles away. And it's going to start to come on the radar screens. And this is what bothers me. Okay, right now I have these guns. I paid a lot of money for them. You add them all up, okay? And the way I see it is this. If they do come after these guns, they're gonna come after them universally. Okay? From 177s to 50 cals. They're gonna come out universally. But the first thing they're gonna attack on it. Right here. Right here, y'all. This little baby right here is coming off. Believe me, if nothing else happens, this is coming off. And if I would have pulled this trigger, if I would have cocked this gun and pulled this trigger right now, my wife would probably come running down the stairs. What was that? Okay? Let me say this. This gun nowadays costs $2,100. This gun at the time when I bought it was $200. This gun, $460. What made me spend that kind of money? All you manufacturers out there of these big guns, what made me buy this? I'll tell you what made me buy it. How is the market driven? I tell you how it's driven. It's driven two ways. It's driven by one, you can shoot this thing almost any way you want to. And two, it's quiet so no one notices. Lose any one of those. Any one of those. But you're going to lose two. But lose any one. Lose the shroud. Your sales are going to go. Lose the air gun notion that this is now a real gun. There's no way in the world that I would at that time pay $2,100 for this gun if it was outlawed to shoot other than places I can shoot it, and it was loud enough that everyone around me would get a report from the gun being shot. If I'm going to do that, I might well go ahead and get a Ruger 1022 or go find another gun that's using 22 shorts and be as quiet as I can with it. I just think they're shooting themselves in the foot. The notion of this these days is this. We have a whole generation of people who are growing up, including my kids, who don't know consequences. They don't know consequences. Imagine that. This gun being purchased by these kids and they don't know consequences. We knew consequences. Okay? Key example of it, in case you lost on this point, some of you guys who may be younger. Every time I did something wrong when I was growing up, I don't care what it was. If I got caught, I got a whooping. Every time. Wasn't no get out of jail free cards. Okay? You're going to get a belt or a switch across your butt. What's going to happen? Okay? Now that's bad though, right? Oh, don't whip your kid. That's bad, bad, bad. You know what it does though? I would walk down the street and I see something in my little mind to tell me, Aaron, you ought to throw a rock and break that window. I picked the rock up and I cocked my arm back and I said, damn, if they find out, they're going to beat me to death and the rock would be dropped. Nowadays, they pick the rock up and throw it through the window and nothing happens. Nothing happens. They get home, the parents find out about it, they can't touch them, you punish them, you go to jail. You hit them, you go to jail. You lock them in the closet, you go to jail. You don't feed them, you don't give them something to be without their supper, you go to jail. These kids don't know consequences and they're getting these guns in their hands. And they're getting them in 30 cals and 40 cals. It can't turn out well. Whether it's an accident or whether it's something more heinous. As those things start to come forward, and believe me they will, these guns are selling big time, they're going to fall into the wrong hands. Let me tell you about a conversation that happened a while back. I was explaining to some people about the new FX 35 cal that was coming out, the bigger plenum and all of that. Told me it was whisper quiet. And they said, wow. One guy said, wow, you could off somebody with that. Oh my God. When you and I think about that gun, we think about what? Going out and shooting some targets, you know, going out and trying to shoot a, what it would be, a 500 score. That's how we think of it. Going out and doing some pesting, going out and doing some hunting. There are other people who think, wow, that would be the perfect weapon for what I would have in mind. And all you need is one or two of those. So I've been ranting long enough. Let me just say this: that I am afraid that one day I'm gonna get a letter of all my guns are. They're gonna contact everybody that's bought these things. They're gonna know where they are, and they're gonna say you have to register or something, and they're gonna say shrouds have to be turned in, or if you do keep your shroud and we caught on it, it is a federal crime, and you are going to jail, and you're gonna have a felony on your record. I see it coming just as plain as day. I'm 70 years old. I'm hoping that I can stretch another 10 years out of this life, and about 10, correspondingly, 10 years out of this. So when this comes, I hope it don't come for 10 years, when I'm too old to see or pull the trigger. Okay? Just had to get a joke in there because this has been a little serious. But I want to close with this. Okay? Those of you who are my age, you know that there was a time when there was no fake news. You turned on the evening news, and what you got from Huntley, Brinkley, and the rest of those guys, it was the truth. Things have changed now. Truth isn't out there anymore. But this is the truth. Check this out and keep it safe.
Some other news tonight, we're learning much more about the 4 young men arrested in a pellet gun crime spree. We're also learning more about the woman they were accused of killing. They say they targeted their victims at random this week. Here's ABC 15's Mike Pelton.